I recently took some much needed time off from work, and I had plans to go to DC and Maryland, but life seemed to have other plans in store for me. I took this Happy Juneteenth tote that a coworker kindly gave me and was about to head out when I slipped on these nasty steps. Yuck! I was about to head out, and I've lived in this place for 6 years. Too long, but I digress. That's not the point. I walk past one set of neighbors. They're always loud. So I say in Spanish, siempre están ruidosos. They're always loud. And right when I said that, I slipped on the steps. Mm-mm-mm. Lived here, as I said, for about six years, over 6 years. Been up and down those steps so many times, never fell, never slipped. It shocked me briefly, but I got back up, came back in here, and wiped my arm because my arm felt a little grazed. I wiped it with rubbing alcohol, and then I put more sunblock on my arm, and I checked to make sure I didn't get any of that nasty dirt from the floor on me. The floor may have been wet, but it's not mopped because that floor is dirty. And I look good to go, but I'm not hurt. I'm just very annoyed. Mm-mm-mm. Can I get through this day in one piece? Luckily, I made it to DC without any further issues, and I made it to Mount Pleasant, but I felt a little overwhelmed by the activity in the area. I decided to detour through the side streets through Mount Pleasant, going on a walk, heading towards Malcolm X Park. I am walking down the street. I don't think I've been out of the house for an hour and I'm covered in sweat. They say, women glow. I don't glow, I sweat. And I'm not going to hide the fact that I sweat or be ashamed of the fact that I sweat. Mm-mm-mm. Once I got away from Mount Pleasant Street and all the busyness, it got so much quieter. Hooey. And Lord knows I need that. You see, I'm not wearing my headphones. When I come to DC, I tend to be more alert because I hear about a lot of muggings and jumpings and stuff. And I have been jumped in DC. I have been jumped in DC before. I have. So I don't wear my headphones. And I want people to know that I'm alert. You can't catch me off guard. Oh, wait. But this quiet is what I've needed so much. Let's see if I can figure out how to get to Malcolm X Park from here. It's been a while since I've been up this way. I did get lost to a degree, but I was really enjoying going on this walk. I walked by this white woman who had a dog on a leash. And the dog looks at me, but it didn't react in any other way. She said, "Good job, good job." I'm thinking, yeah, train your dogs to not react aggressively anytime they see someone black. Good for you. My walk was so colorful, quiet, and peaceful, and it is very clear that this neighborhood is very liberal. Though I was really thoroughly enjoying this walk, I knew that I was reaching my point where I was feeling tired, feeling hot, and I needed to sit down very soon. I had to find my way to Malcolm X Park. I needed to sit down, and I really, 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 folks, needed a break. I got closer and closer and closer, and I finally made it. Though its official name is Meridian Hill Park, starting in the late 60s, Black activists have called it Malcolm X Park. It's such a large, green, and beautiful space with tree-lined paths and beautiful architecture, and it's a great place to hold rallies and events. I came to this park because I could come here to sit, relax, clear my head, and have a little peace and quiet. I finally made it to Malcolm X Park. Oh my God. I was on my feet for about an hour. I was walking on the Billy from Family Circus route, where instead of going from point A to point B, I go all the way loop-de-loop, swirl, upside down, all around. It's been a while since I've been this way, so it was not in my muscle memory like it used to be. This park is so neat. I love its architecture. I love how open and spacious it is. On Sundays I believe they do drum circles in warm weather. Yeah. I needed to sit down. I needed a break. I was on my feet for an hour. The heat was getting to me. I'm covered in sweat. They say women glow, they don't sweat. That's a bunch of bunk. I sweat, and I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to pretend I don't. I'm going to sit for a few minutes to clear my head and take in the nature. Good times, folks. I managed without my headphones, because when I came to DC, I said don't wear my headphones in DC. I've been hearing about too many attacks, muggings, thefts, etc., and I don't want these fools to catch me off guard. I was attacked in DC about 15 or so years ago. So I am jumpy from that. But I've learned to be more cautious over the years, to not ever let anything like that happen to me again. Surprisingly, I did okay without my headphones on. I didn't feel there was noise and nonsense and all that going on, but I did not feel as if I was overwhelmed. I felt okay. I focused on my footsteps. I focused on my breath. I focused on the sights around me. I focused on things that help keep me centered and to help keep me calm and cool and grounded. Well, I can't say cool because I'm covered in sweat because I'm hot, but you get my drift. I got off at Columbia Heights Metro Station. I should have gotten off at U Street. I would have gotten here much sooner. I thought I was going to go sit in Mount Pleasant for a moment, but I had forgotten how busy that area can get. It's such a tiny neighborhood, but it gets so busy and so active, and I needed to get away from the noise and stuff. And I walked on the side streets, and that's where I started to get lost, because I didn't realize a lot of them, they're not straight intersections. They angle, they curve, there's some cul-de-sacs. But it was a very nice walk, and it was very shady and tree lined, so it was cooler in those areas. And those streets were much quieter and empty, didn't have too much going on in them. Ooh, a breeze. Woo. It ended up being cooler, like not as strong as I thought. But I had to get in DC mode, for lack of a better term. So when I got off at Columbia Heights Metro Station, and I'm walking, and I'm behind this white woman, and there's this group of people coming the opposite direction. They were hogging the sidewalk. The white woman got afraid. She got like this and like expected them to collide into her. I kept walking with purpose, walking straight. I said, "Excuse me, please move over, thank you." And I kept walking. I'm not gonna let people intimidate me, and I can't stand when people hog the sidewalk like that. Share the space, folks. Yeah, I had to get in there. I walk with purpose. Walk like I have somewhere to go, because I do have somewhere to go. Even if I don't have somewhere to be at a specific time, I have somewhere to go. And I'm not going to let people intimidate me on the sidewalk. But I found myself slowing my pace because that white woman looked like she probably got nervous, and I felt I was too close to her. And white people tend to be very nervous and jumpy, and they think any black or brown person is going to do harm to them. But I slowed down because I didn't want this white woman to think I was following her. We just happened to be going in the same direction. Not too long after I had taken these photos, it had started to rain pretty badly. Luckily, I was prepared with an umbrella. Others were not as lucky. It started pouring down really heavy rain a few minutes ago. And I saw a lot of people who were not prepared for the rain. They were walking in the rain, heads down, trying to protect themselves from the rain. Oh God, it was bad. It's finally slowing down now. Whew. We're waiting for this bus to my next destination. The bus I took to Silver Spring got stuck in some pretty bad traffic, and I missed my connecting bus to Takoma Park. So I decided to go to Velatis and get some of their delicious caramels. They closed. Oh man, I didn't realize they closed. I was just here a year ago. A lot of things change over the years. They had really good caramels. I found out through Source of the Spring, a news site that covers happenings in Silver Spring and Takoma Park, that Velatis closed their Silver Spring location and they were moving to Bethesda. I was not having the best luck. This is out of control. What is going on in this area? I also found out from Source of the Spring that this was Purple Line construction, which has been ongoing. Hard to do that with all this freaking road work and construction going on. My goodness gracious. Though this was not the best day to be in Silver Spring, with the rain and the road work and the construction, I missed it. I missed its diversity. I missed its wonderful restaurants. And I missed the many activities that I could do there. And this has been the weirdest day, I swear. It was sunny earlier, and it turned to gray, rain, and nasty. I'm wet from sweat, and I'm wet from the rain. I need a shower so badly. This day is not going as planned. But when have my days ever gone as planned? I was at that bus stop waiting for the ride-on for maybe about 20 minutes. Finally realized that the construction is making it so they can't go to that stop. Some people had the sense to go to a different stop, and so did I. But there are others that are still there waiting for that bus, hoping it'll come. And it may not come. This has been a strange day, people, I tell you. The sun's starting to come out again. Now, I would have thought that they would have put up some signs saying that those bus stops were not in service. Nope. There's nothing like that at the bus stop. Finally, I was on a bus to Takoma Park. Oh, look, it's La Casita. They had some really good pupusas. I used to love going there to get them. The bus rode past neighborhoods and places that I have not seen in years. These places used to be so familiar to me, but it was like seeing them for the first time. I love to look out a window, seeing the scenery, seeing what's out there. And I finally made it to Takoma Park. Finally off the bus. Finally in Takoma Park. Goodness gracious, this has been a day. Lord have mercy. Now I saw that ride-on is going to become free on the 29th of this month. Today's the 18th. And I saw people walking by without paying, and the driver didn't do anything. My goodness. They probably don't get paid enough to care. That and people, the way people act in this day and age, I don't blame them for not telling them to pay. They're just like, I want to get through the day without any problems. If they don't pay, that's not my problem. That's probably the attitude they have. Lord have mercy. I cannot wait to go home and have a nice long shower and put on my comfy robe. Oh my goodness gracious. The signage of this building was updated, and it made it look brand new. I made it to House of Musical Traditions, which I had not been to in years. People, I said I didn't have too many plans today. I was going to play today by ear. But this was a definite plan for today. I've not been to House of Musical Traditions in years. I passed by it last year, but I didn't go inside. Oh my God, I've missed this place so much. Look at all these beautiful djembes. House of Musical Traditions is a wonderful place. That one with the purple around it, that looks a lot like the one I used to have. Very similar. I took my time taking in all the beautiful instruments, and I found what I was looking for. This is an egg shaker. This is not the only thing I got today. Good stress relief. They also had shakers that were shaped like fruit. They had orange ones and apple ones. I thought about getting an apple one for work, but I thought, nah. Because I would use it as stress relief. And all the noise the people in my office make, they would not be happy to hear a maraca shaking. I was reminded of how much I missed Takoma Park. I could be my weird ass self and not deal with judgment. I had one more place to stop at before I left the area. The peach cobbler factory was not open the last time I was in the area, so I had to check it out and see what the hype was about. I got the regular peach cobbler and the red velvet banana pudding. They were okay, but it was missing something, that soul, that flavor. The weather cleared up to a degree. It's refreshing outside. I don't want to go home now, but I have to. It's starting to get late, well, late for me. And I really want to take a shower so badly. But I wanted to see if there's some cool cafe to go to. There are all these different cafes, but yeah, I'm just not, there are just too many to choose from, and I do need to start heading home. Like that Soul to Soul song goes, back to life, back to reality. I did have to head home. It was getting late. Again, I'd seen things that had been so familiar to me in the past, but had become forgotten memories. And again, it rained. But luckily, I was on the bus this time. And I slowly but surely made it back. And there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Let's see if I can get up these nasty steps without any mishaps this time. Oh, these steps are so dirty and they're wet too. Careful. Look at that. Careful, slowly. I believe that's what I slipped on. That was over here earlier. Look how nasty these steps are. Look at all that mess. Careful. Oh, Lord. I made it. I am so glad to be home, people. Oh my God. I was glad to get out and see places that I don't get to see on a regular basis because I'm at work. But I was glad to get home. The on and off rain all day, slow buses, and people being people, whew, wears me out. But one of the things I got when I went to House of Musical Traditions today was a new djembe. Oh my God, people. With all the noise and nonsense I deal with on the bus, I was tapping this. When I was on the bus. Now this was in a bag, a tote bag I had, and at the beginning of the ride, I did this with one hand, and that stopped. But on the bus I took to get home just now, there are these two white people on the bus being so loud and talking. They sat across from each other and talked really loudly. So with this was still in the bag. So I started going. And it pissed them off so badly. They couldn't see where it was coming from, but the white woman did look, and she gave an irritated look like, and the white guy stopped. They had this air like, how dare that drumming interrupt our important conversation. Excuse me. But while they didn't get completely quiet, it shut them up. And when it got their voices lower. And when they shut low enough for it to not be as obnoxious, I stopped. I figured that they never tell people to lower their voices. They never tell people to turn the volume down on their phones. They never tell people to be quiet on the bus. So I figured no one's gonna say anything to me. No one's gonna say anything. I love this so much. And this is not the same one I had before, but it was more affordable. I like the sound of the wooden ones better. The sound of the wooden ones is better. It's more rich to me, but this one's much more affordable. This is Nino percussion. It has, it says Nino in big letters, percussion under that, and it has an elephant logo. Elephants are such amazing creatures. But I am so glad, because when I had to sell my original djembe a few years back when I was dealing with financial issues, and I had to move out of my apartment because I couldn't afford to stay there anymore, and I was dealing with a lot of stuff. That was hard for me. That was very hard for me. So I said, I deserve this. I don't have a balcony to sit outside and play it in warm weather, but I can take it to a park one day and sit outside then. And I feel the talking. When I'm holding it like this, I'm talking, I feel the vibrations. Ooh. My goodness gracious. This is incredible. I feel like doing something like this, treating myself to this, is me coming back to myself again. But I'm so glad to be home. Look, all the sweat and the rain dried off. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. I miss the diversity and the art and the energy of places like Takoma Park and Silver Spring. Where I don't miss how it can get too overwhelming at times, more so in Silver Spring. There's a lot going on in that area, and there were times I'd feel so overwhelmed. But I love how diverse it is. Oh my God, it's such a 180 compared to where I live. Where I live, I feel it's a lot more vanilla. I find there are a lot more Black and brown people and a lot more artsy people in DC and Maryland. I don't want to move back to DC though. And taxation without representation. And I think I'm moving back to Maryland, but getting the real ID, it involved a lot of documentation for where I currently live. And I'm glad that I don't have to go through that again anytime soon. If I were to move to a different state, it's going to be the same thing all over again. And also, There's an issue with my middle name. It's hard. I don't have enough proof of my full middle name, and it's an issue when I lived. It was an issue when I lived in Maryland. And there are full name states for the licenses. They managed to give me one, but I'm not sure how that will work with Real ID. So that's a reason why I haven't moved back. And the main reason why I left Silver Spring was not because it got to be too much. It was because I could no longer afford to live there, and my lease was not renewed, and I ended up having to live with a relative until I got back on my feet. But had I not been through that hardship, I probably would have stayed. The only thing that place did not have was a balcony. It had a washer and dryer unit, a huge kitchen, and it had a dishwasher. And I would be so grateful for those things. I can go without a balcony, but I have to have a washer and dryer unit. I cannot keep lugging laundry up and down steps anymore. Oh my God, it's annoying. And when I went to the laundry room last time, that was late May, so almost a month ago, I saw N-word scribbled on the wall. N-word ending in R. RS. I was so annoyed, and I took a photo of it, and I sent the photo uncensored to the leasing office, and they claimed they'd clean it up. I haven't checked to see if they've done so yet, but that was really, this is the kind of place I live in, and it's not where I want to live forever. I've lived there too long. And as I was saying earlier, when I was trying to leave out earlier today, I slipped on that dirty floor. I've never slipped on that floor before. And I didn't get hurt. I wasn't hurt, I was annoyed. And I was concerned because that floor is disgusting. And I was worried that I was gonna catch something from the floor. I've got my tetanus shot, but I didn't cut myself or anything like that. But my tetanus shot is current, so I don't have to worry about that. But anything on my skin, But yeah, I am so tired. It's time for me to get out of these clothes, hop in that shower, and watch Beyond the Gates in Jeopardy. Whew. Oh my goodness gracious. Though today was a day off for me, it felt busy like a work day. And tomorrow I'm definitely staying in. Tomorrow is Juneteenth, and I am celebrating Juneteenth by staying inside. The parades are incredible, and the culture and the richness, but I do not like crowds. And there are other ways I can celebrate that holiday without having to be around a bunch of people and a bunch of crowds. But let me get going, folks. I need to simmer down from my long and busy day. Well, I definitely hit my steps today. 15,242. Take care, folks. If you liked this video and you want to hear more from me, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.